Is the deputy chairperson of the Democratic Alliance's federal executive. She joins us now via the phone line. A very good evening to you, Natasha. We thank you very much for your time. The DA and now the outgoing mayor of the city of Cape Town have been back and forth for months. The charges have been dropped against Lille, which Lille had been refuting from the onset. On what basis then was this decision made, particularly now?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me on the line, and certainly a very interesting day politically for South Africa, and certainly a momentous day for South Africa politically. Musi Maimane and Patricia de Lille having a joint press conference this morning in which it was announced that Mayor Patricia de Lille will be resigning as the Mayor of Cape Town on the 31st of October. I think we can all agree that this has been a very long and a very difficult journey, and I think most certainly we can agree that this issue has gone on for too long. We had a very clear mandate from our voters and from the people of the city of Cape Town that they expected us to find a solution to this problem. They did not want to be involved, and they did not want to constantly be hearing about an internal issue in the Democratic Alliance. They expected one thing only, and that was excellent service delivery. As Lucanio said when you were chatting to him earlier, Musi referred to drawing a line in the sand, and I think that is exactly what has happened today. Well, certainly the internal disciplinary processes against Mayor de Lille have been dropped. The city of Cape Town and the ongoing cases there continue. So those remain ongoing, but certainly the internal issues in the Democratic Alliance, the leader of the party having drawn a line in the sand and making sure that we concentrate on taking the city forward, making sure service delivery comes first, and making sure that we can all concentrate on the core business, which is making sure that we build a successful South Africa.
The accusations from the DA made against Lille from the charges in the Bowman-Gillifin report cited her being guilty of gross misconduct, including unreported irregularities, Lille acting in an abusive manner, and also issues related to financial losses matter. Those included the My City and the Volvo project. These are very, very serious allegations that the DA had leveled against her. If they were so serious, why now has the DA decided to drop the charges?
Well, as a party, we pride ourselves on clean government, and we were obliged to consider all the allegations that were levelled against Mr. Lille. And of course, it's never easy to take action against one of your own. However, these investigations that you speak on, of the Bowman-Gillifin report and these internal investigations, these are investigations that are covered by the city, and they do not form any part of an agreement reached between Mayor de Lille and the Democratic Alliance. These fall out of that ambient. These do not form part of the disciplinary hearing processes that were going to take part in the Democratic Alliance. So those particular issues remain and will continue to be investigated by the city. So certainly under no circumstances are we dodging any form of accountability. This is just an opportunity for the city of Cape Town and the DA caucus to take stock, regroup, and to make sure that the process to elect a new mayor will begin immediately.
Indeed, as Mayor de Lille says that she's relieved to have cleared her name. In terms of her DA membership, can you actually give us clarity on the matter of that disciplinary hearing that is still set to proceed, and on what grounds is it going to be continuing?
So the internal disciplinary proceeding of the DA, those charges have been dropped against Mr. Lille. So as it stands at the moment, she remains a member of the Democratic Alliance. As to her future, I cannot speak on her behalf. I don't know. You would have to speak to her about that. But she will remain mayor of the city of Cape Town, and her resignation will only be effective on the 31st of October of 2018.
As a party member, will she be expected to canvass votes for the election next year, or would you prefer she removed herself from all electioneering?
Absolutely. As a party member, we expect her to remain focused on party discipline, remain focused on all initiatives that the party takes, including any canvassing that takes place within the party, as she will be a full member of the Democratic Alliance until such time as her resignation comes into effect.
I understand from that press briefing, Mr. Maimane said that other legal matters are still ongoing. You've just mentioned now that those legal matters are not essentially from the DA, but from the city. Can you give us more clarity on what sort of legal matters she is going to be facing?
Certainly, it's the investigations that were undertaken by the city, so it includes the Bowman-Gilfillan report and the investigations around that. Also, a matter that falls without, outside this particular ambient is the question of the appeal of the judgment of the Western Cape High Court, the three-bench judgment that came up, simply because that deals with processes and the DA constitution. So those matters remain active because they don't form part of this agreement, and they did not form part of the disciplinary hearing that was set to take place in the early parts of this upcoming week.
Is this mutual agreement, or so to speak, actually in the best interests of society, or is this in the interests of the party, specifically looking at the timing that the decision was made?
I think this decision, and I think all decisions that were taken by Mmusi Maimane as leader, has been in the best interests of certainly the residents of Cape Town and the country as a whole. We have acknowledged and acknowledge again that this issue has gone on for too long. We understand that this matter has been confusing at times because there have been various issues that have taken place, be it within the city or be it within the party, which has caused a lot of confusion. And I think that South Africans have the right to expect a certain level of excellence from their government, and when there is an internal spat like this happening, it does create confusion and it creates unhappiness. So I think that absolutely the correct decision was taken to remove the public from this, having to see a public spat like this, and certainly a decision taken that is in the best interest of all the people of South Africa, and especially the residents of Cape Town.
Well, indeed, the ongoing spat between the outgoing mayor and the DA was made very, very public. You yourself have also had words with Mr. Lille. Where essentially does this leave the relationship between the DA and Lille?
I think Mr. Lille is a senior leader within the Democratic Alliance, and I think the fact that her and Mr. Maimane today had their press conference together showed a great deal of goodwill towards each other. Certainly there's no feelings of malice, and even the words that were had between her and I were simply responses to letters that were written in the media. I think that certainly a lot of goodwill was shown today by the fact that Mr. Lille and Mr. Maimane held a joint press conference, and I trust going forward both parties will simply act within the best interests of the people of Cape Town.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Deputy Chairperson of the Democratic Alliance's Federal Executive, Natasha Mazonne, on the resignation of the now outgoing Mayor of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille, as she leaves office at the end of October this year. Do you stay